made a couple of prototype pieces. So this is to scale, the bottom of the R2. There's a middle here. This is the middle, yeah. And so I made these one practice, and I got better as I went. I learned a couple of things. This is the upper one, and for now, what I'm doing is I'm just building these, just on top hands, because this is going to get complicated. And I started figuring out, like, how am I going to mount this sheet metal pieces to this extrusion? And I'd hoped to do like flat side out, and I attempted a couple of, these are PEMs, and that PEM insert, what I did was I just squeezed it. I squozed them, and I crushed some of the extrusion on the inside doing that. And it started working. Like, if this was solid, it would have worked, but the profile, right? I was drilling through. I couldn't drill and tap this. If I drilled this, I tried drilling it with, here's my attempt, with really small, fine drill bits. I tried to do like 440. Anyway, I gave up. And so I'm like, okay, how am I going to use this extrusion to the best of my ability? And so I'm going to do inserts. So I have these inserts that I can just make, the whole length of the thing. And it's going to go in. So I'm replacing this. Figured out a little bit more of the angles now that I did like a full mock-up. Some of these, things, they don't matter where they terminate. So, but I want to be able to butt other pieces of sheet metal up to other sheet metal. So I want a floating nut that kind of covers this, and then maybe one that goes on top that holds it captive. So I created these side pieces, and I have these extruded aluminum things, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use them as flaps. So this would sandwich this and hold it captive is kind of the thinking right now. So having done the scale model, I now have this, like, I want to make it modular. Like most people who build this, they make this as just like one piece because it's a prop. But I want to make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 modules that screw in from the front. So I'm going to make, I think it's going to be 440 floating nuts that go inside there. It's been really fun to, sculpt this and then shape it. So when I cut, it was a really good exercise to do this. This is all Baltic birch. And it was from a colleague of mine who builds Eurorack cases. He was moving. And he's like, hey, do you want all this orange Baltic birch? I'm like, oh yeah, man. Like, how much do you have? And I said, I'll take it all. So that's the kind of scale of it. This is 18 inches across, and this is, so I'm going to make it 500 millimeters. So this is 500 millimeters. And one of the things about the R2 is all the astromech plans are imperial. So I'm going to make a metric R2. But I have to keep this dimension 18 inches because to purchase the dome, in order to do the dome, like from the kit from the astromech club, it has to be 18 inches or else it doesn't work. So I'll keep that. But everything else I'm going to do metric. This has been 1 millimeter, so I do 1 millimeter. The spacing for this is 104 on the real drawing. So I'm going to make it 1 millimeter or 100. So that'll be 100. Each module will be 100. Fun times.